Hi there, welcome to I Alone Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Aries energy, and we're going to read it from kind of a couple different perspectives because not everybody who's in Aries energy is in high vibe energy or low vibe energy. Everyone's somewhere on the spectrum because life's about learning lessons. So we're going to read it for people who are more high vibrational, what they might be dealing with and how they might be handling this energy and the decisions they could be making in their life. And then we're going to look at it from how people who might have a more worldly, shadowy Aries energy might be feeling in these energies and the actions they might decide to take. You know, people who've learned some lessons in life have learned to temper their fear, their insecurity, or their pride, ego, lust, greed, self-centered nature, immature nature, and some people to different degrees haven't. So, just like you could feel some people in your life, because we all tap into Aries energy, you could feel some other people are kind of shadowy. Other people could view you as kind of shadowy, and those people in turn could view other people as kind of shadowy. So, you know, we all view life from the perspective that we view it. We all generally kind of like to hang out with people who are kind of on the same page as us. So, let's go see what's going on in Aries energy. I view this card as the overarching reason for the reading, and it's Aquarius energy. And the Seven of Swords can talk about the person is holding 5 swords, and they have 2 swords over here, which the Two of Swords is Libra energy, about what we think is just and fair. We're all moving forward in a way that we think is just and fair. We could know we're being deceptive and manipulative, and some people think that's just and fair. And other people listen to their intuition if they think people are being deceptive or manipulative. And if we've learned lessons in life to hold on to our dreams, to listen to our intuition, to take action in truth and love, and when people don't seem to be acting in truth and love and just and fair, or we just kind of realize we kind of have different dreams, different truths, kind of look at life differently. High vibe people listen to their intuition. Other people might get more caught up in their head about listening to their intuition, and they've still got some lessons to learn about listening to their intuition. And some people who are being deceptive and manipulative, they'll probably keep doing it. It probably won't keep working out the way they want, and they're just going to have to learn some lessons the hard way. So, what is going on in Aries energy? We have the Six of Wands. People are moving forward in their life in a way that they're inspired by. Good, bad, or indifferent. Everybody's taking action on what motivates and inspires them based on what their truth is and what motivates and inspires them. And the reason this card came out is because of the Nine of Swords. And the 8 and the 9 and 10 of Swords are Gemini energy, which has to do with our dualistic nature, that we have free will to live our life the way we want to live it, based on what our truth is, and we're going to take action based on what our truth is and how we view the world, and everybody could be hoping for the best. Everybody could be a little stressed out, is what the Nine of Swords can talk about. Is this the right decision? Am I being truthful and honest and just and fair? Am I acting with character, kind of in integrity? Or what about the people I'm in a relationship with, Am I operating from ego? Are they operating from ego and fear and all those things? And, I think for the people who do kind of not listen to their intuition, and the Six of Wands is Leo energy, they could get a little more caught up in their pride and ego, or their fear, or their insecurities. And I think for those people, they're always kind of stressed out. We were all given the gift of our intuition to help guide us in this world, but, we can kind of be full of ourselves and think we're so smart. Oh, I don't got to listen to my intuition, I'll just ignore that. Even though our intuition could be saying, you shouldn't be doing this. This isn't a good idea. You should go home. You should turn around. Don't do this. But, Aquarius energy is also represented by the star, and the fire energy of Leo can be, but I want these things and I really want this, and I think it'll be okay. I think it'll work out. The fives, with this person holding the 5 swords, we can always be hoping other people are going to change. So we'll keep moving forward in something, even though we're kind of stressed out. Maybe don't know if our dream is going to come into reality, but we can always hope other people change. And sometimes the people who are being deceptive and manipulative hope you think that. As long as you keep moving forward with them and you don't fire them, or you keep staying their friend or being in a relationship, it's like, hey, I'll keep moving forward with you. Come on, come on, come on, let's go. you know, you're either being truthful and honest and authentic and loving and just and fair, or you're trying, shadowy 7 of Swords is trying to deceive and manipulate people. Our ego tries to manipulate us. Our fear and our insecurities manipulate us. Other people in our life and the world at large tries to manipulate us. Some other people have already been there and done that, and they learn to listen to their intuition. And if I meet people who are more kind of seem to be manipulative or full of themselves or deceptive or manipulative or fearful and afraid and really get caught up in their head, those might be some people that lack a little hope and faith and belief and love, right? And high vibe people have already learned to listen to their intuition about people like that. I might have to work together with you in a community of some sort, work or whatever. I'm going to listen to I've already been in relationships with people who harness these energies in a more shadowy way. And if people are acting kind of prideful, egotistical, live more from their mind than their heart, kind of seem to be full of themselves or kind of deceptive and manipulative, I'm going to keep my distance. But some other people have to learn those lessons yet. Then we have the Death card, the 7 of Cups, and the Queen of Pentacles. Why did they come out? Because of the Judgment card. Why do some people act more from their pride and ego? Why are some people more deceptive and manipulative? Why are some people so stressed out and fearful and live more from their mind than their heart? Because if they weren't going to do that, they'd have to put an end to that. And they'd have to maybe emotionally invest. The feminine figures in tarot can talk about how we think and feel. And the 7 of Cups can talk about being confused. Well, if we want to quit moving forward, being confused and in our fear and in our insecurity and being manipulated and manipulating in other people, for one, we'd have to even be inspired, which is what fire sign energy talks about, to not do it anymore. And some people aren't inspired to do life any differently. They'd have to be inspired to put an end to the illusion and the confusion. And they'd have to invest some time, energy, and effort, is what the Pentacles can talk about, emotionally, to work through those things. Like, you know what? I could have moved forward in life being more fearful, more insecure. I'm done with that. I'm going to take the time and invest some time and energy. I'm not moving forward anymore until I work through this. Judgment. I'm going to hold myself and other people accountable for their actions. And some people did that. We've all been more fearful, confused, not seeing things clearly, not wanting to see things clearly, which is kind of what the 7 of Swords can talk about. We've all been in workplaces and relationships and friendships with people where it's like, I don't know, they seem to kind of be kind of deceptive or bossy or controlling, but we can all have fear, in a way, is what the 9 of Swords can talk about ending it. if I'm moving forward in something that by worldly standards looks kind of victorious and successful, is what the Six of Wands talks about, I'd have to put an end to moving forward with that. Well, that can be scary and confusing. You know, the Seven of Cups in Scorpio energy, the Death card is Scorpio energy also. We're emotionally complex human beings. We can not want to be in something, but we're also at the same time scared or fearful of ending it, right? We could have jobs. The Queen of Pentacles can represent jobs that we have. The Queen of Pentacles can mean relationships that we're in, friendships we're in, people in our family, romantic interests, you know. We're kind of, in a lot of ways, it looks victorious and successful. And we can be afraid of detaching from that job, friendship, or relationship. We could be afraid of being judged. What would other people say? Would I find a new friend? Would I find a new job? Would I find a new relationship? And people can stay in that energy, and you might know some people that's where they're at right now. They're kind of stuck in that limbo spot. Other people have already been there. We're stuck in that limbo spot. And eventually, you know, things get kind of so bad in a way. The Death card can talk about there's nothing new being born there. It's like dead. Or people definitely aren't being loving. They could create the illusion that they're emotionally invested or emotionally mature. But it can just be an illusion they create. You know, we can be in jobs and friendships with people and know people in our family or wherever, that they create the illusion they're these emotionally nurturing, loving people. You know, the masculine figures can just mean how people present people how they present themselves in the world. Because we can all go present ourselves in the world any way we want. We can give a lot of thought to how we present ourselves in the world. But how do we really think and feel? And so the masculine figures, whether people are male or female, when we go take action in the world, is considered masculine energy. But how do people really think and feel? Some people are more manipulative, bossy, controlling, full of themselves. They don't like other people to be more emotionally balanced and love and believe in themselves. I am going to try to manipulate you, that's like shadowy Leo energy, to stop you from loving and believing in yourself, so that you, in the Judgment card, will make a decision to keep staying in this job, friendship, or relationship. I don't want you to move forward in life any differently. I want you to stop right here, and if we are going to move forward, we're going to do it in this energy. We're not going to, you're not going to hold me accountable. I'm not going to hold you accountable. We'll all create this illusion of how wonderful it is to work here or be in this friendship group or organization or family dynamic or relationship. And that's what some people are doing in a relationship right now. We can get in more mismatched relationships. We can all get in a job or a friendship. Everyone can think, oh my goodness, this is going to move forward so victoriously and successfully. But one person in their Gemini energy, or a group of people in their Gemini energy, they really are motivated and inspired by truth and love. Some of the other people could be more motivated by ego and image and money and materialism. Status, whatever. They could be stressed out like, gee, I hope these people buy into the illusion of who I say I am. For some people, yeah, they're going to invest in trying to create this illusion. Maybe about why they're coming towards some people and why they could have ended a relationship with other people. Well, why'd you quit that old job? Why'd you quit that friendship? Why'd you quit that relationship? You know, again, high vibe people, they've already been in relationships with people who create an illusion. they're going to, the feminine figures can represent your listening, kind of more connected in with your emotions and your intuition, whether you're male or female. I've learned some lessons in life, is what the one pentacle can mean. I'm not, and a queen is more mature than a page or a knight. And in tarot, we have the pages, then we have the knights, and we have the kings and queens, then we have the emperor and empress, and the hierophant and high priestess. You know, this in high vibe is people who've learned some lessons in life. And they are emotionally mature, stable, grounded, and they kind of walk the talk. They are who they say they are. They have detached, is what the death card can mean. They've detached and called judgment on people in their life who were more motivated by the world, by money, ego, themselves, fear, whatever. They did already emotionally detach from people like that. And they have no interest in repeating that pattern with someone else. So as they're moving forward in life, meeting new people, and the people they work with and in their community, you know, people can be loving and encouraging and supportive to people, to everyone, you know. We want to encourage other people to love and believe in themselves. We don't want to be one of the people who puts like negative energy into the world. But do I view you as an option of someone I want to get in a more involved relationship with? No. And some of those people have no interest in getting in a relationship with some other people either, because it's like, I think we both can see that we live our life differently. And so can more worldly, shadowy people like and enjoy the company of some people who might be more emotionally mature and stable and grounded than them? Yeah. You know, can we enjoy being around them? We can enjoy lots of people's company. But the Seven of Cups can talk about looking to be in a relationship with someone and have a new beginning with someone. High vibe people in high vibe Scorpio want a deep, meaningful relationship, not a more emotionally shallow, superficial relationship out of ego or fear, materialism, illusion. And we can tend to think that other people view life the way we view it, right? And so we might think, I have the skills to take this new job. I'm going to go apply for this new job. And as we go apply for the new job, the other person's like, I don't think you quite understand what this job involves. And sorry, I don't see you as a candidate for this job. And it's kind of the same thing can happen in relationships, right? It's like, this isn't even the Six of Wands. Could be someone, it's not the King of Wands, it's not the Queen of Wands, it's not even the Knight of Wands, it's not the Page of Wands. They might know more than a Page of Wands, because a Page of Wands has like one wand. This person has 6 wands. They have learned more lessons than some other people in the world, but they're not maybe a knight or a king or a queen. And it's not like social status wise, it's just more, just haven't completed some cycles and learned some more lessons in life. And might be someone who, again, is kind of more motivated to live more from their mind than their heart. The nines can be, or a person could be almost ready to complete a cycle, because there's a maximum of 10 in every suit. And when you work through and are inspired to work through your fears and your insecurities and your self-limiting beliefs and past pain and heartbreak and stuff like that, then the Death card is holding the one sword. When some people going on their journey in life, just like some of you are going on your journey, when we work through those issues, we've changed, is what the Death card can talk about. I have seen the truth. I completed the cycle. I learned the lesson I was meant to learn from it. Holding that one pentacle, I learned the lesson I was meant to learn from that phase of life that I went through. And I don't have an interest in the death card of repeating that old pattern. Just like I was 15 and 18 and 21 and 25 once upon a time. It was just and fair for me to live my life like that. That's where I was at in my life and my emotional maturity and how I viewed life. But I'm not 15, 18, 21, or 25, for example. I'm a more emotionally mature person. I have no interest to going back to living my life like that. I'm not the same person. The death card is about shedding an old layer of your more egoic nature, fearful nature, insecure nature, up in your head nature. I've transformed my life. I'm not the same person. I've given birth. And then the Seven of Cups comes after the Six of Cups. And the Six of Cups can talk about I've reconciled myself with some issues in my past. Maybe before I was more tipped out of balance, caught up in the world, caught up in myself, caught up in my head, caught up in my fear, caught up in other people, whatever. But in the Six of Cups, I got balanced about it. I came to a place of peace about it. And now I'm ready with these lessons that I've learned in life, working through my own emotional confusion about detaching from some of those old ways of living life. I'm ready to have a new beginning in the Judgment card. I'm ready to move forward, face my fears about stepping out of my comfort zone, or just moving forward to go get that new job, new friendship, new relationship, or, with the people in my life that are working together with me and everybody's doing that work within themselves, then, we've all decided to hold ourselves accountable and we're all doing that work within ourselves. And we'll keep moving forward with those people. But periodically in our life, we do call judgment on some ways of living life, ways of viewing life, other people in our life. We're just not on the same page anymore. What we maybe want to invest our time, energy, and effort into is different. Sometimes we could have moved forward in something, but we could have realized kind of some of the things we hoped for that we thought were part of what we were moving forward in would kind of grow and mature into that reality, from the Six of Wands to the Queen of Pentacles. Like if it was a job, we thought if we worked there for a period of time and, we were putting in the work and effort that, one phase of like what we were investing our time, energy, and effort into would come to an end. And we'd have this new beginning, maybe taking on more responsibility. And if we see that's not happening, it's like, maybe someone and the same thing can kind of happen in relationships, right? We get in relationships with people and we kind of think the relationship will grow and mature over time. And that people will grow and mature over time. And that we both shed an old layer of a way of living life, and certain things we used to view as victorious and successful, we've put that behind because we're ready to more fully commit in this relationship. And some people could be ending friendships, relationships, jobs, or marriages. Some people could be getting into them. If it's high vibe, it's because it is based on truth and love, and it is a deep, meaningful relationship. And people could be coming together to get in new relationships or whatever. It just depends on where people are at in their life. And shadowy people could be very much wanting to be in a relationship because they have a lot of stress and fear, and sometimes some people, think it really says something about their worth or value, or they're too, they, maybe, they want to create a family. And they want to be married if they create a family for some people. And so if there was people in their life that wasn't how they viewed things moving forward, some people already got out of relationships with people who that wasn't how they dreamed of things moving forward. And they could have gotten in relationships with other people, or they are going to go get in relationship with other people. But some shadowy people could be more, have ulterior reasons as to why they want to get in a relationship, and they're not telling the truth. At the end here, we have the Three of Pentacles. The Three of Pentacles is Capricorn energy. Shadowy Capricorn energy is represented by the devil. You know, some people want to be in a relationship just for the ego and the image and the status and the stability and the security, and just to be in a relationship, and maybe in fire sign energy, all of the perks and benefits that can come from being in a relationship, and intimacy and things like that, right? And for some people, any of those things could be the driving factor, or all of those things could be the driving factor. Other people, it's like, I don't want to be in a relationship just to be in a relationship, or just to have intimacy with someone, or because of the ego or the image, or because I'm confused, or because I'm stressed out. You know, I maybe have already done that before, and it probably didn't work out. I thought it was going to move forward victoriously, and it didn't. And then I was kind of confused why judgment didn't go in my favor. And I had the free will, which at one point in time I probably did, where it was like, oh, well, forget all that. I'm going to barrel on forward, and still overwhelmed, or still in my lust or my greed or my codependency or my fear. And I'm going to go find someone else to get in a relationship with. And we repeat the pattern all over again. Well, how many times? Now the Three of Pentacles is kind of reminding me of going round and round. You know, how long are we going to keep going round and round before... It's kind of funny. Sagittarius is about higher learning and education. But it's like, if I don't want to keep going round and round, I have to get inspired. Fiery energy. I have to get inspired to get to the truth of why this keeps going round and round. Where do I need to heal and grow and mature myself? What kind of people am I attracted to? Why am I attracted to those people? Especially if those people, it doesn't work out. What am I not wanting to see the truth about? And maybe eventually people decide, you know, before I move forward in something new, I am going to do this work to free myself from what keeps in the devil, the opposite of high vibe Capricorn, what it is that keeps kind of getting me tangled up. You know? Do I let these things that I want to manifest is kind of more the driving factor, instead of like listening to my intuition? And do I ignore my intuition? I just move on anyway, you know? Pride and ego. I think I have a good idea. I'm sure this will work. Even though our high vibe nature of Gemini, and our high vibe nature of Aquarius, and our high vibe nature of Libra is like, oh my God, they're doing it again. Oh goodness. You know, oh my gosh, they are headed straight towards something that has no life-giving energy to it. But they're caught up in the illusion that, oh, I'm sure this job will be better, or I'm sure this friendship will be better, or this relationship will be better. I mean, look, they seem like they're more stable and secure and more mature. I'm sure judgment will go in my favor. But the whole thing is, if we haven't dealt with the things within us that could cause us stress and anxiety, emotional confusion, overwhelm. Maybe the pages in shadow can represent codependency. Like, I'm looking for someone to love me. I'm looking for someone to validate my worth and value. I'm looking for someone to move forward with. And we can want all those things, but do we let all those things that we want, you know, just be the sole driving factor in our life? There's a maximum of 10, and this is 10. We really want that new beginning. We really want things to change, but we can always be looking outside of ourselves for the answer. And the answer really lies within us emotionally. We have a certain way of viewing ourselves and viewing the world and kind of what drives and motivates us. And if it's kind of tipping us out of balance with the nines and the tens and the sevens, and we're not kind of operating from a foundation, being more inspired to look at life as an adventure to be lived, that there's lots of things to learn upon the way, and maybe if things aren't working out the way I wanted, maybe it is to be a time for me to do this work within myself. And maybe until I do this work within myself, nothing is going to change. Because it is kind of a way of telling us, you can, and we kind of in our pride and ego, it's like, I think I can make this work. I think I'm going to barrel forward, try to force things in a way. Well, then if we kind of are trying to force things and high vibe energy and like the Eight of Wands is kind of going with the flow, well, that can get other people kind of defensive because, like, gee, you really seem to want this or that or move forward with this. And could we take some time to chillax and maybe get to know each other and find out what your dreams are and what my dreams are? And maybe some of you will experience that as you're moving forward, that someone really seems to want to rush, or maybe other people might be experiencing that, where someone really seems to be trying to push an agenda. Well, what's the rush, And it does take time to get to know people. We can all meet people. Fire sign energy can mean we're attracted to people, but we don't know what their truth is. We don't know. People can present themselves again any way they want to. They can seem like these just and fair and stable and grounded and emotionally mature, loving people, but are they? And then that can make us fearful of, if we've already dealt with people like that, it can make us fearful of investing in other people, but then that keeps us stuck and our dreams aren't coming into reality. So then we need to do all this work within ourselves and just get to know people, If people have ended a relationship, just like if you left a job or a relationship, other people that you might view as someone you would like to have a new beginning with might wonder why you ended that last job, friendship, or relationship. You might do that towards other people. And I think people who are high vibe, if they think someone is trying to emotionally confuse them about the truth, well, some of those people might call judgment on those people. I think, sometimes people get out of one relationship because the people they were in a relationship wanted them to kind of hold themselves accountable and grow up and mature themselves. And they're like, oops, time to go. I'll go find someone else to go get in a relationship with. Well, maybe when we were a lot younger, might have easily and quickly gotten other relationships, but people got some life experience now, and it's like, no, I want to find out if you're kind of like some of the immature, prideful, self-indulgent people who like to, because shadowy fire energy too can be people who just want to indulge in a relationship for however it benefits them. Is it good for my ego and my image? It makes it look like I've moved on. Oh, if I move on, those other people will be all stressed and they'll be confused. And maybe in my ego, it makes me feel powerful, It's like, I don't want someone to come get in a relationship with me because they're in their ego, or to backstab or hurt someone else, or other people wanted them to grow up and mature. So since I don't know them that well, maybe they just think I'll be kind of gullible and naive. And the Seven of Cups can mean that they're not seeing you clearly. It's, when we're in our shadow nature of like pride or ego or lust or greed, or just full of ourselves, it kind of clouds our judgment And we're not kind of seeing other people clearly. And, you know, sometimes people are just looking to go indulge themselves. Oh, look, that person, they had been moving forward in something victorious, and then it ended. I bet they're all confused. I bet they really want to get in a relationship because they're fearful of moving forward and having a new beginning. Oh, I'm going to come on over and get in a relationship with them. And some people, that's just how they want to live their life. And I'll indulge in that relationship until that person kind of sees through the illusion of who I am and they move on, and I wasn't able to deceive and manipulate them and they weren't willing to keep indulging me. Well, then I'll just go find someone else and I'll go try to put on my false mask and try to create this illusion about why those relationships didn't work out. And if that person is willing to invest in me, yippee, in the judgment card, I'll stay in it as long as it's good for my ego and my image, and they're being maybe emotionally nurturing or loving in some way, or maybe if I'm more materialistic and they've got money, male or female, or they got good looking social clout, whatever it is, I'll indulge myself in it for as long as it lasts. And if they're willing to keep moving forward with me, kind of like the Six of Wands to the Four of Wands, if this seems to be going okay, from the Six of Wands to the Ten of Wands is letting go of the Four of Wands, some old foundation, to move forward in a new foundation, like a new job, friendship, or relationship. It's just that we can all do that, and we've all done that, where we kind of gotten more mismatched relationships, we just didn't know it. And so we can all be kind of excited about moving forward in it. We're all in. It's kind of what the Ten of Wands can talk about. But as time goes by, we start to realize, wait a minute, I think we harness these energies differently, and I could harness them more high vibrational, you could harness them more worldly or shadowy. Or a shadowy person sometimes doesn't like to be in a relationship with another shadowy person. It's like, what? No, I want to be in a relationship with a loving, nurturing, self-disciplined, really patient, wonderful, supportive, encouraging people. I like to be kind of more about myself or immature or whatever way they are. But I like to be in relationships with people who are like that because that's good for my ego and image. Makes me look like I'm more emotionally mature. And it's nice to be in a relationship with people like that. And they kind of don't want to be in a relationship with someone like themselves who's manipulating them, in it for ulterior purposes, prideful or bossy or controlling or emotionally shallow and superficial. I like to be in a relationship with someone who's loving and nurturing and all that good stuff. And so they're trying to maybe get in a relationship with, some people are trying to get in a more mismatched relationship because they know they're more aligned with their shadowy Aries energy, a little bit more about themselves. And they want the people that are currently in their life, they want those people to keep moving forward with them. If there's anyone new around that they can get to be encouraging and supportive of them, wonderful, join the program. And if some people left and they're not kind of caught up in the illusion of them anymore, then they could really be kind of overwhelmed because someone saw through the illusion. So then they go to get in a relationship with someone else and repeat this pattern again. And trying to find someone who will buy into the illusion. It's a lot to take in, so hopefully you're kind of following the story flow here. But when we're in the midst of it, and some people are in the midst of it, we sometimes realize that we kind of harness these energies differently. One person could be all about moving forward with it, kind of indulging themselves in the relationship, and the other one's putting a lot of work and effort to move the relationship forward. And that's when eventually it's like, wait a minute. One person in High Vibe, the Page of Swords, is people who are being authentic and honest, and they had a dream they wanted to bring into reality. And then they kind of start to realize as more time goes by and kind of looking back at how things have gone, it's like, I think you're kind of more immature, and I think we have different ideas of how we thought this was going to move forward. I kind of had that hopeful, believing spirit in love, and you could be more caught up in yourself or the world or the ego or the image or the money or whatever. And it seems like I've been the one trying to maintain and put a lot of work to move this relationship forward. And then as the relationship goes along, the people who are more fearful or immature or materialistic, or it gets overwhelming. They're already creating an illusion that they're kind of more emotionally mature and stable and balanced and loving than they really are to begin with. Well, what if the person they're in a relationship with is kind of ready to close out a cycle and move forward to the next level? And they're like, shit, I've been faking this level. you know, it's kind of like having a job where people somehow are able to create the illusion and maybe getting other people to help them or do the work. And then someone's practically going to offer them a promotion and they're like, oh shit, I cannot. I will be found out for sure if I take that next job promotion. How do I try to confuse people about the truth? I want to stay here because this is working out the way it works for me. But if I were to move forward, I don't think I could do it, And so then kind of the same thing can happen in a relationship where it's moving along and it's great that people are putting in work and effort, but then those people are kind of ready to move forward in a more inspired way, really bring the dream into reality. And that's when the other people are like, oh shit, I cannot do that. I can barely do this. I am working so hard to try to, because they really could be more tipped out of balance, but they're trying. The sixes can talk about trying to maintain balance within yourself and again try to create this illusion that you're more emotionally invested in it or more emotionally mature than you are, or that you're on the same page, when it just gets harder and harder to kind of, if it's not your truth, and sometimes people get in a relationship and everybody's gung-ho, and then it's like, oh shit, I don't think this, I know they want me to keep moving forward with them, but I don't know that this is my truth. This is it's starting to seem overwhelming that, and it should easily flow. And then it's to try to figure out why isn't this flowing naturally, and that there's something kind of hidden. And that's when some people could be like, wait a minute, I need to pause for a moment. From the 1 to the 7 is the 6 of Swords. And it's like the 6 of Swords is Aquarius energy. I have this dream. Is this where I should keep moving forward? Should I stay in this job, this friendship, or this relationship? Why do I feel overwhelmed in it? Why does the other person seem to be pushing things? Or are we on the same page? Do we have the same dream? Am I finding a little more shadowy or immature? What are their motivations? What drives them, motivates them? What really drives them, motivates me? I mean, we've all moved forward in life and realized we were kind of going down the wrong path. We might kind of, in our ego, to not want to change, and there can be a lot of good things about it that we kind of are tempted, but are we tempted in our ego, in our fear of just doing anything different? Is that a good reason? Is that why other people stay in a relationship with us? So then we think about these two cards. And sometimes we do get in more mismatched relationships, and And that's why it can be overwhelming kind of for both people, because we thought we were on the same page, we thought we had the same dream, we thought we were motivated and inspired by the same things. Some people didn't want to get married and they were on that same page. And they thought, nope, this is good. We can keep moving forward like this. I maybe had a relationship that ended before too, and so I don't think I want to get married. I am willing, so long as we're willing to work together. And for some of those people where they are on the same page, and the only thing is they might not want to get married, if those people are being loving and encouraging and supportive people, and they work through their, when they have conflict that comes up because of believing in the dream together, and they get along and they like each other and they're truthful and honest and all that good stuff, they keep moving forward together. But sometimes, there's other reasons really why someone doesn't want to get married. Maybe because they are a little bit more about themselves, don't want to have to kind of really more authentically invest in someone or something, and if they can find someone who's willing to stay in a relationship with them and let them be that way, then that works. But, sometimes other people are like, I have a dream, and if people aren't inspired to want to work through their fears of why they wouldn't want to get in a more formal commitment, then even though it's difficult, and even though it can be overwhelming to detach from you, and if I want to get married to have children, and that's not what you are planning to do with your life, then we have different dreams, and it's all these things that can be overwhelming. But I think high vibe people ultimately listen more to their intuition to guide them, which I think is a good thing, because I think our intuition was given to us as a gift to help us navigate this world. And when the signs are there and different things, people might not show the truth of how they think and feel, but we can kind of sense it. Anyway, let's go look at these two cards. The Knight of Pentacles and the Strength card. So, some people are more aligned with their more worldly, egoic nature in a more shadowy Leo energy, which anyone can harness. We have free will. What is my truth? In my dualistic nature, I could temper my more beastly nature and being more about myself and the world, or I could listen and embrace my more natural nature, which is to listen to my intuition to guide me. Because it's just like animals have all their natural things that they can use to survive kind of in the world, and they don't question their abilities. Like, the analogy I use all the time is bats have sonar to navigate in the dark. They don't like, well, I didn't really want to figure it out, and one time it didn't work, or a few times I hit a wall so I gave it up. And birds and butterflies fly to warmer climates in the winter. They don't question it because they don't have free will. It's just like part of the software program. They just do it. But we as human beings have free will, and we can ignore our more natural nature, which tries to tell us when something is not just, fair, truthful, authentic. We wouldn't feel these ways. People, if, shadowy Scorpio can be people who are intimidating and controlling, act like a private detective in a relationship, are more emotionally shallow and superficial. Shadowy Taurus can be bossy and controlling. Shadowy Sagittarius can be just more immature player. People can be immature. People can be full of themselves. People can be deceptive and manipulative, prideful, egotistical. And then there's other people who have learned these lessons in life, and they grew up, and they put an end to their more immature, childish ways of being. And they worked through their emotional confusion of looking at life from a higher perspective. There's more to this world than me or indulging in these things of the world. And I probably did go indulge in them and it didn't work out the way I wanted. And some things could almost killed me. You know, because all the things that people can indulge in, it can become like an addiction. And, because we were looking to those things to be the answer. And high vibe people learn the answer lies within me. If I don't learn to love and believe in myself and work through some of my own fears and insecurities, there's going to be other people in the world who are happy that I am caught up and deceived and manipulated by my fear and my ego and my lust and my greed and whatever, because they're looking to get in a relationship with someone like that, because to some degree they're in that energy, or they're more worldly, or they're more immature, and they want someone to indulge them and be their friend and hang out with them and live life like that. you know and we can have done that loop many times. We got a lot of lessons to learn in Sagittarius energy. A lot of things I'm motivated and inspired by in the world, and I might have tried them all. And then it was like, shit, that is not it. I keep thinking these things are the answer, that my dreams are going to come into reality, that I will be set free, that I will go on this adventure in life. And that's when people realize it starts within me, and I need to do this work within me. And though it can be overwhelming, I am not going to invest in those old patterns, because I've already been there and done that, and it didn't work. And I am going to wrap my brain around this game of life. And though it's hard and it causes me a lot of mental conflict, because there's a part of me and things I'd like to do or people I'd like to hang out with, but I might already know that they're more shadowy and deceptive and manipulative. And I have a dream I want to bring into reality. And I have my own inner child nature, and I need to take care of myself. And I'm going to keep doing this work. And then from the 10 down to the 8 is letting go of the 2 of Wands, which can be an old dream that I had, a way I used to view life. And that's not my dream anymore. It used to be my dream. That was the end all be all. But now, no. I've learned so many valuable lessons from that life experience. And that kind of makes me think of the movie Barbie, if any of you saw that, where they were getting ready to put her back in the box. And she's like, oh my gosh, I remember this. Oh, I remember the smell. And oh my God, I haven't been in a box for so long. And then it's just like, oh my God, I can't do this. And she runs out, I can't be like, and that would be shadowy Scorpio of the 7 of Cups and the Death card. It's just a more emotionally shallow, superficial life. And we were meant to invest in being free to the degree that we want to be in relationships with other people who invest in being free of their more worldly, shadowy, immature nature, their more beastly nature. I don't want to be in relationships with people like that anymore. And I don't want to just look good on a shelf, and I don't want to be in a relationship or whatever just for how great it looks and how good it looks and blah, 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 because I found it overwhelming, and I might be the only one who ends up putting in the work and effort in the relationship. If I have invested in tempering myself and my more immature, prideful, bossy, controlling, self-centered, all about myself, whatever nature, to work cooperatively together with people in truth and love. The 3 of Pentacles is working together cooperatively. The Pages in High Vibe is always talking about truth and love, kind of, that hopeful, believing spirit. And I have a dream, and I want to move forward. I've seen what didn't work, and I want to move forward in what seems more aligned with my truth. And some of the people in my life, and again, we come in contact with all these different people to find out what our truth is. And we viewed life a certain way. We got in relationships with other people who viewed life a certain way. And that, at that time, could have been our truth. But do we hold ourselves accountable when kind of we find it overwhelming to listen to our intuition, work through some of our fears and insecurities, that we have about stepping out of our comfort zone to move forward in life differently. And sometimes we can have people in our life that we love, they love us, they could want us, or jobs, they want us to stay there. But they want us, in the death card, there's nothing new to learn there. And they could be comfortable living their life like that. Oh, it seems overwhelming. I'd have to temper my fears and my insecurities and maybe not make my life so much about these things of the world or me. And I'd have to free myself from these things that manipulate me to move forward in life differently. And some people, again, we can be in friendships and relationships with people for a while, and everybody can, work through their different things at different times. And then it can get to just maybe a core foundational truth where, it's kind of, what is my truth? Am I kind of more about the world and I'm okay maybe making my life more about the world or more about me? Or am I willing to work more cooperatively with people and then it can't be more about the world and it can't be more about me? High vibe energy and high vibe Virgo and, all the nines, the 9 of swords, the 9 of pentacles, the 9 of cups, the 9 of wands. Are we willing to stand up for ourselves where we could almost look like we're living life exactly like we were living it? It's just that we're not as consumed as we could have been with trying to conform to the world or being more caught up in ourself, our ego, our image, or how much money we have and what people think of us. It's like, how about we go free to live our life and treat other people with love and respect and the way we like to be treated and being authentic, and we just go live our life. And some people are like, that is scary as hell. Because I also would have to invest in being more authentically myself. And I might it's kind of like shining your authentic light, which is also Aquarius energy. I want to live my truth, and in high vibe, it's from truth and love. And my truth can be different than other people's truth. The people I love and the people I want to move forward, other people would be like, I wouldn't get in a relationship with them. I wouldn't take that job. It's like, yeah, and some people want to be doctors and scientists and biologists, and some people want to do other things. You do you and I'll do me. If you're not, but some people really have a hard time of not kind of conforming to this worldly way of how you're supposed to act and how you're supposed to dress and who you're supposed to be in a relationship with and who you're not supposed to be in a relationship with. And, you're not supposed to think outside the box. High vibe Aquarius is kind of thinking outside the box, having hope and looking at life from a higher perspective, believing I think there's more to life than just making my life about these things. And high vibe energy is about a balance. High vibe Virgo is about a balance. The Strength card is kind of reminding me of balance. We all have our more lustful, greedy, prideful, immature, self-indulgent, I want everything my way nature. But if we want to work with people who are only willing to work with people if they work with them cooperatively, inspired by truth and love, some people have to decide if they're willing to do that or not. And some people decided, nope, you go on ahead. I think I'll go find someone who could have been in the same situation as me. And they let some other people go. And maybe they're looking to get in a relationship with someone more like me. Other people are looking to get in a relationship more like those people and teach their own. And it can just be confusing when some of the people who we did think were on the same page as us weren't. Even when we get out of those relationships and then we're moving forward and we could communicate with other people in our life, I've learned some lessons in life. I'm moving forward in this way. Do you want to come with? And some of those people then have to do this work within themselves to decide how they want to live their life. And some of those people will do that work because they're motivated and inspired by your vision or your truth. High vibe energy is trying to be a leader in the world where you just offer people love and encouragement to believe in themselves and to heal, keep things in perspective, keep focused on the big picture instead of like, oh my gosh, this happened. Oh my gosh, like right now I need to do this and I need all these new things or whatever back in my life. It's like, how about you take your time to heal from the whole situation? Maybe invest in, I view high vibe Leo as giving yourself the things that you wish other people would have given you, and finding maybe more, if, say, people used to go indulge in certain things to try to make themselves feel better, then maybe we temper that a little bit because we probably already learned that that isn't maybe the best direction. But, life's to be enjoyed, but to be enjoyed, again, within balance. So that we don't make those things so important to be the answer in our life. And then as we do that work and we love our own inner child nature and work through our fears and our insecurities and self-limiting beliefs and the confusion about other people in the world and other people we've known, as we do that work, then, there will come a time where we have kind of freed ourselves. And that's what the death card can talk emotionally. I have freed myself from some of these things in my past that I'm ready to move forward and have a new beginning. But it all can take time. But I think that is the best foundation. Because otherwise, some people, something didn't work out. They're really overwhelmed. Again, like, oh my gosh, I got to go find a new job, or oh my gosh, somebody disciplined me at work. Oh my God, I got to go find a new job. Do we keep things in perspective, or do we easily kind of get tipped out of balance and, oh my gosh, am I going to have someone to have sex with? I need to go get in a relationship right away. And they're not keeping things in perspective. We're probably going to live 80 years. Do we need to get a new friend or a new romantic relationship this week, this month, this year? No. Is there all these other things that are part of our dream that we could invest our time, energy, and effort into? Learning to love and believe in ourselves, tempering our fears and our insecurities, so that maybe when we meet some people who are more on the same page as us, or that the page we want to be on, we're there. If we keep backtracking, and that can be what some people did too, which is kind of interesting. Some people could have thought, if there isn't someone in my life that really motivates and inspires me that I want to work with, I think I can go indulge in this for a while. Well, we are, again, emotionally complex people, and some people could have thought, I'm just going to go have a fling and just indulge in it for as long as it works. But then, again, some of the ego and the image can get involved. What about if they go do that, and then someone who does seem to be more on the same page as them, that they always kind of dreamed of, that seems like a person who's on the same page as me anyway. Well, then they can feel really overwhelmed, because then they would have to maybe speak their truth about a way they have been living their life. And then they also could have some mental conflict because, you get involved in relationships and you get, we're emotionally complex human beings. There might be things that not as great about that they would think about this one, but they've still kind of gotten themselves kind of emotionally invested in some people. And maybe unbeknownst to them, some of them did grow and mature in the process of some relationship they were in. And some people realized they weren't really even fully investing in some people because they kind of were caught up in this illusion, and really the people that they're in relationships with are the people they should stay with. And then there's other people that, the whole thing is try to make the best decisions you can based on truth and love, not ego or lust or anger or trying to manipulate and control people, because there will be karmic consequences, and the people who could have given in more to lust or greed or pride or ego, because that's what really drove and motivated them, harnessing shadowy Virgo, shadowy Leo, shadowy Sagittarius, and in their air sign energy of Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini, they thought that was more, they'd always thought that was more their truth. Could they have gotten in relationships with people who weren't more motivated by that? And it kind of could have felt a little mismatch because it was really more ego and image or something that more drove them. Well, then, if they had an opportunity to move forward with someone who seemed to be more on the same page, and they ended the relationship with people who were more balanced and tempered, but loving and creative and inspired, maybe not so much as caught up in the world, then some of those people later can have some mental conflict because they hadn't learned that lesson that I really thought that was the most important thing. And by the time they realized that, some of the people they had been in a relationship with have no interest in being in a relationship with them again. Because the whole thing is, if we were in relationships with people and those people were kind of more emotionally mature, stable, grounded, tempered, and balanced than we were when we were in the relationship with them, while other people were off doing what they were doing, the other people were continuing to grow and heal and mature themselves. And so if we really were on different pages of the book of life lessons, and people had the opportunity to temper their ego and things like that, to work through those things to keep moving forward with people, they would have, went through those pages together and gotten on the same page and moved forward in the same page. But when someone decided, I'm going to stop right here, well, then they didn't catch up and they didn't keep moving forward. And the whole thing is we just accept the truth of it. We kind of get out of our ego about it. We accept that people are where they're at. People have their own lessons to learn, their own journey to go on. And the whole reason we could have come into each other's lives could have been at one time we both could have been encouraging and nurturing people to each other. And we were maybe to a degree the right person that each other needed to heal and grow and mature ourselves in some ways. But when it got to be what foundation do we ultimately align with, we saw that we were kind of operate from different foundations. And everybody could be kind of conflicted about it, but it's kind of seeing the truth. And of course, people who are a little more immature about themselves or ego or image or indulgence or materialistic, they have a little more of an inner conflict because they might not like to admit that to themselves. And then out of pride and ego, they could keep moving forward in that way just because they're too prideful. You got to get out of your pride and ego and be authentic and honest. And some of those people are too prideful and egotistical to speak the truth and illuminate the truth. Invest in illuminating the truth. They reject that. The thought of doing that is overwhelming. So they're going to keep moving forward with their inner conflict, thinking that's the best idea. And I think it's going to impact their future relationships as they move forward, because unless they tell those people the truth and hold themselves accountable, at least to someone new, if not the people that they previously were kind of shadowy with. And the more high vibrational people are looking for other people that, and if you're in those, the people in your life that are high vibe, you're going to keep moving forward with them. Anybody else that you communicate with, the pages are making small gestures to people to get to know people. If anyone comes towards you, I think you'll listen to your intuition to see if they're hiding, that they're more in their worldly egoic nature. They might be attracted to you and you're like, wait right there. Yeah, no, this is not moving forward. We have a lot of talking to doing, is what the Ace of Swords can talk about, till I get clear about your truth and what really drives and motivates you. Because I'm not moving forward with people in a more involved relationship until I find out that truth about who you are. And some of those people then will be like, oh shit. Okay, I guess I can't tempt you in your more worldly, lustful nature, so I'll have to go back and find someone else who's more overwhelmed to try to manipulate, because that's who I am. And the other people will be like, well, I might be attracted to you. I might want to be in a relationship with you. I could go back and do what I've been doing, or with people people I've already been with. And if they listen to their intuition and you are on the same page, they will be authentic and honest and work together with you to move a relationship forward to see if you're more on the same page. So, what's coming up for people who harness some high vibe Aries energy that they might not see coming up? But high vibe people no longer are caught up in the illusion. If they can sense that people are more prideful, egotistical, manipulative, driven by factors other than working cooperatively, inspired by truth and love, they're not going to be rude about it. It's just, I kind of don't think, they stay basically in the friend zone. What's coming up? The High Priestess, the King of Pentacles, and the Chariot. Why? Because of the Hierophant. In High Vibe, the Hierophant talks about walking the talk, being who you say you are. You present yourself, whether you're male or female, as a very emotionally mature, stable, grounded, loving person that people should want to hire, date, and marry. And you could be in all those three situations right now. And you're listening to your intuition about the people in your life. And if there's some people in your life that could be tempting you or just are kind of more immature, you just kind of might keep your distance. The Chariot is about moving forward and standing up and defending this relationship. For people who aren't in a romantic relationship, you're walking the talk. You are embodying the energy of an emotionally balanced, loving, emotionally mature person who walks the talk, and you're listening to your intuition, and you're investing in like-minded people. And if you meet someone that together you're on the same page, you will move forward with those people. But I think when you move forward in this energy, there's other people that are going to see you. There might be people who can definitely be attracted to you who are hiding. They would like to invest in you. Some of them would even think of leaving things that they're involved in to be in a relationship with you, for some of you. But the fact that you have learned these lessons in life, you've learned to love yourself, you've learned to maintain balance within yourself, you are this emotionally mature person. Some of the people who would like to be in a relationship with you are like, can I do that? Maybe I should just go back and get in a relationship with someone else. And there'll be other people that will want to, and then there'll be people who will be trying to test the waters. Let me see if you really are who you say you are. Or are you being deceptive and manipulative? Can I deceive and manipulate you? And you'll just listen to your intuition. Who's being truthful and honest? Who might be a little gun shy because they've dealt with people like this in shadowy energy just like you have. And, there'll be people that you get to know and move forward with. Tell us about people who harness a more worldly, shadowy Aries energy. What's coming up for them that they don't see coming? The Page of Cups and the Seven of Cups. Why? Because of the Ace of Pentacles. Well, we all have different people in our life, right? We all have people in our life and people in the world and creative, inspired energy in the world trying to get us to love and believe in ourselves and align with that energy. And then there's other more shadowy energy that can tempt us to align with our more shadowy energy. And things that they might not see coming, if they're kind of being deceptive and manipulative and trying to get people to move forward with them in relationships, but they're not kind of being authentic or trying to hide that they're more motivated by something else, there's going to be some high vibe people in their life that are going to come to a place of peace about it. They have been offering them love because they wanted to invest in this new beginning, but they want it to be in high vibe Scorpio, a deep emotional relationship. And they could keep seeing that the people they're in a relationship with, the more shadowy people, just keep offering them these things of the world. Can't I tempt you with these things of the world? Don't you want the status or the ego or the things of the world I have? I'll have sex with you. But no, I don't really want to do a deep, meaningful relationship. I don't want to quit kind of investing in my more immature nature. I have this illusion about relationships. Can't you invest in the illusion with me? And people did for a while, and eventually people are like, I wish you peace. I have kind of reconciled myself and come to peace about it. The 1 to the 7 is the 6 of Cups, and I'm ready to move on. And I have a dream. I could have found this kind of overwhelming. I feel like I gave it everything I could. And the truth is, we're kind of motivated and inspired by different things, and I've come to peace about that. And I am going to move on. And some of the shadowy people did not see that coming. And the shadowy people, they're more maybe emotionally immature and more motivated by the world, not so much by love. Get hurt doing love, so some people don't want to do love. And some of them are kind of immature and full of themselves, and they're sure other people want to be in a relationship with them. And there might be, one door closes, another door opens. But eventually, if they keep not growing up and maturing themselves, the people who are willing to keep staying in a relationship with them might be kind of immature just like them. Might also be people who create an illusion, who also might be more motivated to be in a relationship just to be in a relationship, or for the status, or the ego, or the image, or the sex, or the money. And it's really just an illusion. And if that's what people are comfortable with, they think that's just and fair, that's, their comfort zone, well then that's great. They found someone who's lives their life like that too. It's just that some other people, up here again we have major arcana with the High Priestess, the Hierophant, and the Chariot. I want to be someone who isn't continually indulging immature behavior in myself and in others. I am motivated and inspired to free myself from things that manipulate me, to grow up and walk the talk. And there's other people who are like, yeah, that's not my truth. But you do that, you go. And I'll go find someone else to be in a relationship. And if that's what they want to indulge in, is having someone indulge them, or they're willing to indulge someone else where people really don't have to heal or grow or mature themselves, then they found someone who's on the same page as them. And the other people are like, I already knew that, and found out as time went by that I didn't find it emotionally fulfilling. There could have been things at one point in time I liked about it, and it could have been really hard to move on just because I had fear of moving on and being more independent. But this whole experience is, I feel so much more stable and grounded and mature within myself and emotionally balanced within myself and really kind of aligned with my truth. And I wish those people peace. And that could be something the shadowy people didn't see coming either, because some shadowy people didn't like that people were moving forward. I'm going to do all these things to cause them stress and anxiety and overwhelm them. If none of those things work and they're still moving forward, then I'm going to end the relationship with them. Then I'm going to go invest in someone else and create an illusion that this is my truth. And the whole thing is trying to manipulate someone else into giving up their dreams to come back and indulge these shadowy people in a relationship. And now some of the shadowy people could kind of be realizing, I have been sitting here deluding myself that one day they were going to come back and want to get in a relationship with me. And if they would quit giving up their dreams, then I would get out of this relationship and I'd come get in a relationship with them, maybe in a heartbeat. But they have to quit investing in more loving and believing in themselves, because I want them to invest in me like they're God in your life or something, you know? And some of those people are seeing how they made the wrong choice. Because the high vibe people are like, get out of my way. I am plowing over you. Nothing is going to stop me from moving forward. Not immature, deceptive, manipulative people. I don't care how you might look victorious and successful or shine bright in the world. If I already know you're immature and deceptive and manipulative, I've already let go of that dream. You just haven't seen the truth of it yet. And I am moving on. And that's when those people are like, what? And then maybe, possibly, something some people never thought they would do, some shadowy people, they might owe someone an apology, is what the Page of Cups talks about. And some of those people could think, maybe if I do that or I make some small gesture to them and reach out to them, they'll like jump on that like a dog on a bone. And you've picked up all your sticks and you're not going to play with them. And they might be confused, like, well, none of these other things work, so I can't figure you out, because all those kind of things work on them, because they probably have people in their life and people they grew up with that act like this, and this is their mode of operating in the world. And they can't figure out why none of these things are working. How do you keep moving forward? And they could think you're just creating an illusion that that's who you present yourself to be, but that's not really who you are. And so some of them and some people might reach out to see if you are who you say you are. And some of them are thinking, I don't think you are. I think if I make you an offer, you'll come jump on it. You know, jump in a relationship with me. And they'll be surprised that you're like, what? Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I was headed this way. We can get to know each other and see how things go, but nothing is moving forward in a more involved relationship until I get clear about what your truth is. And those people might put in some work and effort for a while, but eventually it's like, oh shit, you go. I'll go find someone else. And it's like, well, then apparently we weren't on the same page and I'm not really someone you feel like you really want to be in a relationship with, and maybe you just wanted to have sex with someone or something. So there you go, Aries. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.